So I forgot to finish the topic, but maybe it's okay that it's a different video on the role of priests. I mentioned in the last video in restoring the calendar, how we would do that. That would be a priestly role, the one keeping track of all these things. But it doesn't end there. Israel was supposed to be a nation of priests and kings. Because, as I explained before, what's the priest do? He keeps track of the seasons, the sun and the moon, and reminds people, hey, no shoes today, go wash your feet, you're stomping grapes. We need this wine for this observation. Or, hey Sally, did you bake your loaves? Wave offering. Okay, thank you. So in that way they're governing. Even in Maccabees, the one called the Maccabee was told to be captain, and he was called and assigned to be priest. So that's why kings don't work the fields, because they're playing the role of priests, and priest is a kingly role. Which is why gods end up saying that they're God, or kings end up saying that they're gods. They go from priest to God, representative of God to God itself. Okay, so, but now we have this nation of people who are given trust of the law, trained how to be priests and kingly. On Sukkot, one of the sacrifices is for the sins of the Gentiles. When Israel was up and running, they were making sacrifices for the Gentiles to cover our sins. Because we're all descendants of Noah, we're all family, we're all under covenant. We leave the covenant, and still, like Job was making sacrifices to cover his children's sins. That's what they do. That's why a wifely, priestly nation. So, with these people, you have your line of priests to send out to the villages. That's why they don't have land inheritance. Because they're supposed to go forth and serve as priests throughout the world. Isn't that interesting? And then once a year, everybody's supposed to come. The priests get to get back together with their families, maybe swap villages that they go to, all of that. And everybody comes together knowing it's the annual family reunion. This is just all hitting me this morning, so I'm appreciating the information as brand new. Just if this is brand new to you, we're experiencing the same thing in the same parallel time-space continuum at the same time. We're having this experience together. You are witnessing me have it while you are having it. That was the whole purpose of the nation of Israel. And yeah, king is supposed to be a priest. Hold us accountable to living in accordance with Torah. And the priestly, thus kingly, or kingly, thus priestly line was coming down through Abraham. And so Yahusha makes even more sense. So there you go. the role. What does that mean? Priests and king, a nation of priests and kings. Yeah, they were supposed to be the guides for all of us in life. The timekeeper, the scheduler. That timekeeper just brought me back to an interaction in spirit I had. Like, I didn't understand what was being said at the time, but the masculine spirit was saying, well, you have to take a part of me into yourself. And he was the keeper of time. And I didn't like his energy. I didn't like him. But if he's the one in control of the Gregorian calendar, then it makes sense I wouldn't like him. I would have to have some qualities of him to become the timekeeper, a priest and king. Again, man, not gender specific. Priest, not gender specific. King, not gender specific. If you say, oh, the king's all gathered all together, and, you know, this king is female, so we're going to call her queen, and this priest is female, so we're going to call her a priestess, but she is no less a priest, she is no less a man, and she is no less a king. And gosh dang it, did not Yahusha say that? I will make her a man as much as you. What was a man? A king and a priest. Not gender specific. Dang. Yeah, that just hit me too. We're having one of those shared moments of awakening. Dang. See, we got to understand these things if we're going to live in accordance with them. See, that's the difference. And Mr. Rude mentioned that in the video I was watching last night, researching another holiday in which I found more inconsistencies. But, okay, when the Israelites came out of Egypt, they had to agree to serve him and live under the law. And the guy said, well, they didn't know what they were agreeing to. They didn't receive the law until they agreed to live under the law. That is a lie. That is a lie, because we are all descendants of Noah. They all knew what the law was. They all knew it. All of humanity, all of our ancestors knew what Torah was. It was passed down from Enoch down to Noah, from Noah down to his sons. Recorded in oral tradition. Everybody knew what that was back then. Because Abraham got the renewed knowledge and understanding of it, and everybody knew who the Israelites were. I mean, shoot, they attended Cleopatra's wedding. They knew each other. They know the history of the law. They know all that stuff. It is blowing my mind here. Because my big issue is informed consent. Like, I'm gonna serve some god blindly. As far as I know, he's just like every other god, you know? So the year of preparation. Like the brides, when Esther Hadassah, she can be called Hadassah again, because Esther means Easter, was the house of women to prepare them for their night for the king, to see if he would choose them to be the queen, his wife. And it was 6 months of all their calluses and sores, ground off their skin, harsh bathing with like pumice stones, and then it was 6 months of just fragrance, herbs, healthy smelling stuff. And of course diet would be a part of that, because treat a bacterial infection like your yeast is out of control, you put a little clove of garlic up there and you taste garlic in your mouth all day. You drink rose hyssop tea and you taste and smell like roses down there. It's a thing. So, yeah, what a woman eats, drinks, and places in the different parts of her body, very important in the bedroom. If we're going to be fruitful, multiply, and become many, our diet is going to determine how much time our significant other, and the same thing goes with a guy and his ejaculation. What they eat comes out there, and what they do with that affects here. Just sidebar information. Where were we? What topic did we start with? The role of priests. So your king is supposed to be your sexual advisor as well, and your herbalist, as well as the timekeeper. So that's what that message was. That's why I had to have part of the timekeeper in me. Click. There we go. All right. So I started another video on this because this is a role of the priests. Israelites as a priestly nation. Which now the invitation has gone out to others because Israelites aren't interested in handling the law. Mostly. I mean, so many, you could see, like, one woman, she does videos, and the first prayer, I mean, all day long, it's memorized prayers that they say all day long. They first, even before they open their eyes, there's a prayer that they have to utterance. And, well, should a woman, she's got a child screaming in the other room, should she leave that child screaming? No, she can say the prayer on the way to getting her child. See, they're supposed to be guiding us in those aspects of life, but that prayer itself is not in the law. Yeah, you're supposed to speak of it, to your children as you're walking and working and, bedtimes. You're supposed to convey it, but yeah, so back to, but you can see it in this woman. She, all the law, and she's, interested in helping people who want to follow Noahide law or who want to become Jewish. And, she's following all these traditions, and you can just tell just by her weight, and she wears sunglasses because she's tired. She doesn't want to be up, and she jumps on the trampoline while she says certain prayers because she's got energy, she's got frustration, emotion. She can't speak because she's not supposed to be feeling this way because she's obeying the law. She's saying every prayer throughout the day, washing her hands incessantly so that they're ritually clean to go do this, go do that. And you could just see it in her energy. Like, sister needs to be free. And really, that's the only thing that we need to be freed from. That's why Yahusha came not as a war hero, but to point out where we bind ourselves, to expose to us our own thinking. Oh, why you be poisoned? Live by the sword, die by the sword. Live by poisoning other creatures, you die of poison. Agent Orange, God's judgment. You wouldn't happen to be putting pesticides on your gardens. That's when they started canning and preserving food. Introducing plastic into households. How are they maintaining, keeping the bugs away, So, yeah, the only thing we need saving from is ourselves, and that's why they didn't like Yahusha. They wanted, I'm a perfect example. Those of us in my situation, homeless, no hope of being able to afford a place, some of an income, so I've got some stability. I can choose my resources, choose my food, choose my clothes, which is perfect. I'm not complaining. But we think, our prayers are for, oh, my boss is such a problem. I could devote more time. I could bring more joy into my communication, into my prayers. If this one wasn't, I need saving from this. I need saving from that. I need saving from that. That the world's going to end. These people, Israel's taking out Iranian war leader, military, prominent guy. They're gunning for the leader. Iran's probably got nukes. It's all out war now. Like, we need to be saved from that. The volcanoes are going off everywhere. We need to be saved from that. No. Even New Agers will tell you. You sit down, you meditate, pollution leaves the air. Rain dances. It has been known throughout history what is going to be the most powerful and effective manipulator of the elements to keep you safe, to blind and confuse your enemies so that they don't come after you. The wind to take the nuclear fallout away. What does that? Following Torah. Living by the calendar that God gave us. And it stops. What stops us from understanding it? Our thinking. We are hoarders. We hoard. We don't trust. We don't have faith. We may not hoard food like other people hoard food. We may not hoard stuff off the shopping channel like other people hoard stuff off the shopping channel. What's your record collection look like? How many songs you got on your MP3 player? How many movies you got going on there? In case the power goes out, you can watch stuff. How's your figurine collection going? How many car parts you got in the garage? We hoard. Because we live in fear. A hoarder's mind is not in alignment with the mind of Yahuwah. So, we're not going to be given the power to affect the seasons, the ability to follow the calendar, experience the realization we just gotta watch the flippin' moon and reset it ourselves. Holy Shamoli. So, if we've reached this understanding, I am now responsible for learning it. I just wanted a farm, man, and peace and love. Compassionate understanding. I didn't want all this responsibility. Did I go into wanting to understand God so I can be a king and priest? No, I just wanted to be happy. This is the Creator, the one who made me. Perchance, He might be happy. Help me be happy. Then I fell in love and fell clean. And then the fruit of the Spirit in the personal relationships in that organization, no. Disenchanted me. Gone. Abandoned Scripture. That version of God. I was not going to worship a God I did not understand. I wanted fully informed consent. Well, I was going to be required of me ahead of time. And God does give that. The Israelites, they had that coming out of Egypt because they knew what the law was. That's how Moses' adoptive mother ended up his adoptive mother, is because she had started following the Israelite law. And everybody knew it because it came from Noah originally. So, yes, these understandings come. And where I left off in my story was I had abandoned. I want to see the other faces of God, his other relationships with other people. You know, he's got a wifely, husbandly relationship with Israel. Egypt is his, Assyria is his. What does he expect of them? How does he interact with them? What's their religious life like? I'm going to go find all that out. Then I'll know all the faces of this God. And then it comes down to, I've got a bunch of understandings. Of course, I just have a desire. There's something in me that just needs to know. And I came to understand through other religious practices, spiritual beliefs, about the nature of things, the nature of the consciousness of things, the law of attraction. You know, yes, it does exist. How much it exists is up to... There is somebody who can cut that off. And the demons do it to us all the time. Which they're supposed to do to keep us from getting too much understanding, thus too much power, because we are not pleasing to our Creator. So I come into it this time looking around me, going, all right, everything's turning to war. Which deity? Because even like your animists and everything will notice the rise and falls cyclically of the deities and which deity's nature is governing now. And I looked around and I said, that would be the God of the Bible. Yep. It's all about him, everybody claiming to serve him, and everybody fighting against those who believe in him in whatever way, shape, or form they do. That's the governing God. I'm going to get to know that God. I went for the power this time. Before it was the love. That didn't get me anywhere. Then it was understanding, knowledge, law of attraction. Do it myself without any reference to God. That didn't work. I turned to authority, and look where it got me. I got love, I got comfortable living, and I got understanding of the nature of the universe and how it all works, because I went looking for authority. But if we're just looking for somebody to govern us for the sake of knowing, oh, this is the master, I gotta please the master, if I have sex with him, he'll be good to me. No, it's not becoming an authority pleaser. It's, you gotta have it all. You got to have it all. You want to be able to show love, to be able to show compassion and understanding and what that means. Know how to do that. You have to want to understand the nature of the universe so you can interact and coexist in your environment in a peaceful way that serves both parties, whether it be the trees, the structure we're living in, the animals around us, the birds in the sky, and the clouds, the wind, the sun, the moon. And we have to want authority, to be self-determined, to be self-governed, and know how to do that. And we're getting all of that to the level we want it. This is what we want. We just don't know it. We aren't told it. We're told it's not it. Distracted from it. It is. It's everything we want by observing and living in accordance with this covenant with our Creator. We want to be kings and priests. I would have never said that before because I don't believe it. I don't want to rule over it. I don't want to be responsible for people. I was a mother. I had 6 kids. I've babysat 13 kids at once. Take them out to the grocery store with me. Man, this one's got issues with that. There's a story of a rabbi who he was so busy serving the people and he wouldn't take money for it because they didn't believe you should pay your clergy. But because they're supposed to be priests, they're not supposed to have rabbis. This is clicking. They're supposed to be priests, but they think they can't be priests because there's no temple. We proved that this is a lie. We can restore the calendar. We can have an altar and do wave offerings. We can be priests. Rabbis. Whoa. Okay. So anyways, this rabbi he had healing skills and stuff, so sick people were coming to him all day. And then on the Sabbath, he was so beat the people were even coming into his bedroom. Like, he could not get out of his bed on the Sabbath. He was so physically exhausted because he was older. And the people would go into his bedroom where he was resting, getting off his feet on the Sabbath, and they would still pester him. Do I want to be in service to... Do I want an entire nation or even a village? Do I even want one person? Do I even want my neighbor, my best friend, whom I dearly love? Do I want this person to suffer because I wanted to sleep in or I slept in someday? Of course, our Creator's not going to let that happen. I set an alarm clock. I'm up half an hour before it goes off every time. Shoot. Last dream I had, it was go outside and find out as part of the dream. And then, and answer your phone. And the phone rings and wakes me up like a second later. We will not mess it up. That's it. Okay, now I'm going to cry. That is my problem. I don't want to fail the people around me. It's not fear of being a failure. I've obviously failed at so much in the eyes of the world. And I don't care. Look at the way I walk. Look at the way I talk. Do I look like I feel like a failure? No. But I fear failing people. This is awe. This is repentance. This is understanding. This is being prepared to receive Holy Spirit. So when your Pentecost comes, that sign that you are under the wings of the dove. You are written in the book of life. You are in covenant. You are living in covenant with the Creator. This is budgeted practice. Have you cried lately? They used to do sackcloth and ashes. Tear the clothes. Wouldn't that be something? Walking down the road. See, the Aramaic people, they got that down. They're wailing, they're in the streets. When they're upset, you know it. You know it. When they're mad, you know it. Wouldn't that be something? Just people walking out of their houses. You're walking down the road, you hear tears, crying, coming out of every open window, every open door. I'm pretty sure that's what the wormwood is when that plague hits. Everybody's going to be exposed to a full realization of who and what they are, what they've done. The 3 days of darkness, that's what that's for. That star wormwood, that would come in the fall. The threshing floor. And I covered that in the other videos. Why prophecy leads to exactly when Yahushua's going to come back. Because they were doing the wheat and the chaff at that time of year. That celebration. All the signs lead to that. So there's most likely going to be some fall. We'll see which fall it is and whose fall. Who's the person keeping their calendar? And go sit next to that guy. He's got good weather in the right season. But no, I have to start watching the sun and the moon. And no, not the stars. Just the sun and the moon. Sun and the moon. And I can start living in accordance with that. Do you have any idea when it comes to written work? Like, this is why I haven't written a book. Everybody tells me I need to write a book. I haven't written a book because, and then to go back, I'm so used to shooting ahead on everything, but to go back and redo it, be my own scribe, that'll keep me busy. And the financial support will have to be there if the creator wants it. And if the financial support isn't there, then I don't have to sweat about not learning it. And dang it all, I might have to be moved because I'm down in the valley, and the only amount of sun and moon I see is through the trees. It's mountains all around me, like I'm down in. And anybody who's ever lived down in, the amount of sky you actually see is just very small. That's why the first time I left New England, I went down to Ohio. I hit those flatlands. Now I know what a flatlander is. My eyes wide open, and I just got this sense of the potentials are endless. The possibilities are endless. I was used to New England. And then I come back to New England one time, not this time. I want to be here. I wanted the cozy, cover me, Jesus. Yes. But then I come back and feel claustrophobic at one point. Like, if we're going to keep track of the moon, I'm either going to have to watch the news or... Alright, so that's my deal. Maybe you're not meant to be a priest, and not everybody is, so who cares? It's not a judgment. But for those of us on this path, just because I want to understand why people were the way they were, I just wanted to peace. Why am I so different from everybody else? All I wanted, no. Get all of this. The things that the rabbis lie, steal, cover up, and manipulate to be. I naturally am. I was born to be. And I'm like, that's insecurity. If the Creator made me to do this, then I'm not going to fail anybody. Got it. Get to it. Take off your shoes. You got grapes to stomp. The wine press of your heart, man. Get to it. Only if you choose, only if you want to be on this path. Never against your will, and always with fully informed consent. You have no idea how good that makes me feel, because that's what I was studying. A gifting culture based on fully informed consent. That was the model I was drawn to. They actually write books about it. They just don't happen to mention the Creator or his calendar or the rest of the laws. But that which we crave, the culture of gifting instead of an economic culture where everything's a commodity and can be sold and bought for a price, based on fully informed consent. Get my consent before you put me under the law. Let me be fully informed before I choose the law. And we should be. If there's any neglect about it, that's because of the people who didn't want us to know about it, because they wanted all the power and might and strength and authority, or they want to destroy knowledge of it so they didn't have to be accountable to it, and they could just go pillage and rape. There we go. I should probably end now. Who knows how long this is. Good luck. Or, see, even that, okay. I'm going to have to go research what good luck is about so I can be properly chastened and not have that utterance come out of my mouth. Like, I will never, ever, ever look at egg-laying rabbits the same way again. Not with that. Yeah, no thank you. It'll be like hell no, don't you come anywhere near me with that. Ooh, you creepy person. You don't even know what you're doing. Okay, so yes, again,